What's up, Raider Nation? We're back with another video. Coming off a win for the first time in what seems like a while, 30-6, a blowout, which was nice to see.
The Antonio Pierce era is here, guys. Antonio Pierce era is here. You saw a completely different football team on the field yesterday in all phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams, just the mentality was just so different. And I think this guy brings it. Every time he steps on the field now, he's going to bring it. And okay, people can say it's one game, but look at the Giants defense. The Giants defense was pretty respectable. They held the Jets to like 13 points. And they held a couple other teams. They were doing well, had a lot of turnovers. Adoree Jackson primarily had a lot of interceptions this year already, but we made them look bad. And I think incorporating the play action and just getting the run game going was the biggest thing. I think Aiden O'Connell, gave it to Jacobs, and Jacobs just did the rest and returned to his all-pro form this year. And that's what we really wanted to see. I mean, we knew that though. We knew we were going to see a completely different team after Josh McDaniels was fired. I mean, we've been saying it the whole year. Go back and watch any of our videos. We've been saying that the coach was been the problem for the whole year.
Yeah, it was night and day. Just the players were playing motivated, and the scheme was so much better. On offense, defense, obviously it's the same guy, Patrick Graham, but I got to give a shout out to Bo Hardgree. Like, what a game that guy called. That was incredible. That first opening drive, we haven't had a drive like that since John Gruden was the head coach, or Rich Bisaccia. McDaniels has never coordinated a drive like that in his entire career as the Raider head coach. That was the easiest opening drive. And like you said, Jacobs got it going because we weren't running the same old draw, the same old up the gut runs. We were stretching them out, running sweeps, getting creative. Bo Hardgree, that guy's a good offensive coordinator. I got to give him props.
Yeah,
And
and I think
go
this
ahead.
McDaniel's play calling was just, I mean, a disaster from the start. I mean, the amount of close games we lost last year, and then now coming in like 5, 6 games into this year, the play call knew from the start that was going to be a disaster. And after seeing his term in Denver, that lasted a year and some year and change, essentially year and like 12 weeks. They couldn't get the ball moving either. I mean, obviously the NFL is a lot different now. So if that didn't work back then as a head coach, I mean, and then the whole Colts disaster when he like was head coach for a day and then left and then went back to New England. Like he'll end up back in New England at some point now. Like it's just a matter of time. He might take the rest of the year off or whatever, but he's never going to coach a game again. He'll never head coach a game again. And that's it. I mean, this was just he took a playoff team and turned them into 6-11. And then the year after, with a even better defense, took them to 3-5. Embarrassing performance on Monday night. Forget about it. It's the I was gonna say Damian Pierce. That's the Houston Texans running back. It's the Antonio Pierce era, and it's a new day. It's a new day.
Yeah. And for any 1% doubt that the fan base had of should we fire him, that's automatically gone. Like you said, he's never going to get a head coaching job. And this one game proved that. All you could see it on the field. Like for a team like us, we haven't had a blowout win like this in years. And for the game after our coach gets fired for us to do this is, it's the biggest indictment on Josh McDaniels that there is possible. Like it was the best move Mark Davis could have made is firing him, 100%. Like even if we go and lose every other game the whole season, which we won't do, we're expecting big things from our guys. It doesn't matter. McDaniels is gone, and it's a win for us, no matter what happens throughout the season.
I honestly don't know if I mean Antonio Pierce after that one game, like I mean, he climbs up the rank already. Like, I mean, the way he fires up this team, the way chants Raiders after the game and during the friggin' like the press conferences and during the game, like when the sideline reporters there, that's what he said after the game.
Yeah.
He's like one thing, he's like Raiders. Like he hyped everyone up there, bumping straight out of Compton at practice. And they were just getting in the zone, man. And now they got the next 2 days off. They got Monday, Tuesday off. I mean, that was just an overall dominant performance against the Giants. All phases were working. When Jacobs gets going, then the offense moves really easily, and Jacobs was getting about 6, 7 yards of carry. for the better part of the game, which opened up, O'Connell to like, play action, roll out a little bit, and find Jacoby Myers had a nice touchdown run too early in the game. And then, Devontae had a slow day, of course, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. I think he's not really worried about it either. I think the win was, what they really needed at heart. They didn't need like a 300-yard game from Devontae. They needed a win, and that's what happened. They went out and got the win. But I think coming up now, we got the Jets coming in on Sunday night. Their offense struggling. I mean, the game is on right now, and their offense just struggles. They keep turning the ball over. They gave up a punt return touchdown, and now they fumbled. I mean, the Jets are, are all over the place. Rodgers is walking. He'll be back by January, maybe. I mean, he's already walking without crutches. I mean, that's pretty insane. He had surgery less than 2 months ago. And but yeah, it should be an exciting game this week. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about the Giants week. I mean, it was pretty just dominating overall.
Yeah. I want to add a few things. First, I want to say our run defense still needs to get some work in. Saquon Barkley was gashing us early in the game for 8-9 yards of pop, just like Jahmyr Gibbs was. So if we want to be a competitive team going down the stretch of playing KC, playing Miami, you gotta fix that up if you're the Raiders defense in Patrick Graham. I don't know if it's a schematic thing that they need to work on, or it's a personnel thing, because obviously we're getting sacks. Like our D line is getting there. Obviously our linebackers are pretty banged up right now. So I'm waiting to see when Divine Diablo comes back. We need to get healthy. I saw Jalen Smith got some burn out there. So I mean we're our linebackers are pretty bare bones right now. So that we need to clean that up. And another thing I'll add is a lot of people on Twitter, just the whole Raider Nation in general. The one thing I will say is don't be too quick to anoint Antonio Pierce as our savior, our Lord and Savior, because look, it's a different situation than Rich Bisaccia. It's wildly different, and I'll tell you why. It's because this guy's a McDaniels guy. Champ Kelly is a McDaniels and Ziegler guy. So obviously, okay, they won a game. Like the way our team performs, it says more about Josh McDaniels than it does Antonio Pierce and Champ Kelly. Because Champ Kelly was in charge of drafting. Not in charge, but he worked with Ziegler. And Antonio Pierce was brought in by McDaniel. So these are, if you're Mark Davis, you want to rid yourself of McDaniels' BS. So look, Antonio Pierce has done a good job so far, but look, people are like, oh, this is our guy. This is our leader. Wait and see. Like obviously, I'm pulling for the guy. I think this is good. We're playing Raider football again. This guy's bringing the culture back. Blasting straight out of Compton, which is a good thing. That's what we need. But I'm not fully set on. I need to see more to say, okay, this guy's our head coach of the future.
And I agree with you there. I think obviously, yeah, it's one game. It was a statement game, a statement win, which obviously helps. But the one thing is that I will tell you, I disagree with, saying get rid of all the, like this guy's a McDaniels and Ziegler guy. Also, I don't think that's true because I think he disagrees. He disagreed with everything, almost everything McDaniel did. And he made that clear. And I mean, the story that came out before the game on Sunday was that in the locker room, when they had that team, meeting where they ripped into McDaniels, they ripped into him and the coaching staff got involved too. And McDaniels told Antonio Pierce to say something. And Antonio Pierce was like, man, Raiders, like, when I was on the 07 Giants, we played the 17-0 Patriots or 18-0, whatever they were going into that Super Bowl, 19-0, maybe 18-0, that we were going to play them in the Super Bowl. They're undefeated. They haven't lost. We have that mentality that we're going to ride together and we're going to beat this team. And he said that we had no doubt in our mind we were going to lose. Josh McDaniels got mad and said, don't you ever talk about the Patriots like that. Like, I mean, that just shows, like, why are you so butthurt, like, with your corny ass Patriot ways? And I mean, I think that was the point where where Mark Davis heard that in the in that meeting, and he kind of knew that if they lose to the Lions, that it was going to be game over. And on Halloween, it was game over. They turned the lights out on that experiment.
Yeah,
And
well,
but let me add one more thing. I think that after one win, Antonio Pierce showed he's a player's coach, and he knows what he's doing. He's gonna learn. He's gonna obviously he's gonna learn as time goes, and Zach Wilson just fumbled again, which is amazing. Chargers defense has 20 points already. But yeah, it's pretty, it's good. I think it's going to be, one of those situations where this guy could be one of these young former player head coach, like D'Amico Ryans, for example. That's one example that I take. Like D'Amico Ryans was a defensive coordinator for the 49ers, did an amazing job, and then he became a head coach now. And Houston is balling, man. CJ Stroud, I wish we got him. When that report came that we tried to trade up for him, I was so butthurt because I'm like 450 yards yesterday and 4 touchdowns, like by a rookie, like shattering the rookie record. That's crazy, man. Like that's crazy. Also, Zach Wilson and the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, we better beat them tomorrow after seeing their terrible performance tonight. I mean, this is a winnable game coming up. Let's move on, I guess, to
Yeah. Let's start
the
talking
upcoming
about.
Jets game. Yeah, I mean, this is a Sunday night game. It's going to be a big game on NBC. And it's a winnable game. We got some juice going into it. I don't know what's going to happen in this Jets Charger game, but it looks like they're losing right now. If that continues, they're going to come out hungry. And it's gonna. I'm interested to see how our team's going to respond to this big win. Coming off of a blowout win, the typical old Raider way is to go up flat in your next game after a big win. So I'm interested to see on how Pierce can motivate the guys to say, okay, we got to keep stacking. Everyone keeps saying that we got to keep stacking, but I want to see, can they actually do that instead of just talking the talk? You got to walk the walk.
Yeah, and I agree. But I do think that this is a new team now. I think this is a new regime. This is like a completely different mentality on the field. So I do think we respond. And I mean, later on this week, we're gonna have a couple of my boys on the podcast. They're pretty big Jets fans. We'll manage having 2 people on the podcast. I mean, I'm not really worried about it. But just honestly, like it's gonna be a battle in the trenches, I think, because
Yeah.
the Jets defense, I mean, they're not looking great right now, but his over the season past over the year, they've been good. So we'll definitely see if Aiden O'Connell and Jacobs can get it going. Right now, I've been seeing Eckler's not really doing much. I mean, he just caught a big pass on 3rd down and 9. So I mean, they are moving into their territory. I'm not, and our offense is obviously, we don't have Justin Herbert, but we got pieces. We got more important pieces like Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. And like you said, I 100% agree with the battle in the trenches because we saw against the Chargers, Aiden O'Connell, if there's pressure around him, we've seen him. He's really calm in the pocket. He's like too calm in the pocket sometimes. He doesn't sense the pressure. He goes through his reads. He'll look right, look left without noticing the pocket. Like he keeps his eyes downfield too much in a way, which is it's good and bad, right? So if there's too much pressure, like Khalil Mack, he got sacked like 6 or 7 times against Khalil, and the Jets have an elite defensive line. So I'm interested to see how our coordinator McDaniels couldn't respond to any pressure that Mack was facing, no adjustments. So I want to see how Hardgree responds. If O'Connell's getting pressure early in the game, he's got to be able to mitigate that because if we lose, if our offensive line loses, we're going to lose this game. But if we can protect AOC, I think it's a pretty easy win. I'm not going to be worried if we can protect AOC.
And I think last week, I mean, yesterday the line showed that they could hold. The Giants D has been aggressive this year. The Giants
Yeah.
defense in general has been aggressive. Aiden O'Connell was making good reads, 1, and 2, the line was holding up. I mean, Jacobs was getting great yardage, nor was O'Connell sacked, I believe. Austin Eckler just scored.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, look how under control Aiden O'Connell was. Like we saw Jimmy Garoppolo in the Lions game, how nervous and frantic he looked in the pocket. Aiden O'Connell was smooth, calm, collected. And you even heard Devontae Adams say in his post-game presser, he said he doesn't carry himself in the huddle like a rookie. He carries himself like a vet. And you can see it on the field. He's not flustered. Jimmy Garoppolo's a 10-year vet. I got to give him respect for at least being on the sideline, cheering on the guys. I'll give Garoppolo respect for that, but he's a 10-year vet, and Aiden O'Connell is miles ahead of him in his demeanor and the way he plays quarterback.
Right. And I think I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And it'll definitely be interesting to see, what happens, how we come out. I mean, I don't think we come out flat. Our McDaniels couldn't motivate me to make lunch. And Antonio Pierce, I want to run through a wall for that man already. I would run through a brick wall, or I would try to run through a brick wall for that guy. And, now it's like the tables have turned. And okay, like you've been saying, like, okay, you don't think we're going to go 8-2 in our last 10. Like we play Jets, then we have Miami in Miami, then we have home to Kansas City, then we have the bye, then we have Minnesota. Like, we have like some easy games. Like, we get Minnesota, Denver, Chargers again. Indianapolis also. Indianapolis has been playing good, but I don't think Gardner Minshew's that, anything special. And I hope they don't sneak it here to Justin Herbert. Oh, he fell down. Yeah, he fell. Justin Herbert sucks.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. And one last thing I'll add too is this is a culture change with a guy like Antonio Pierce who lives and breathes Raiders. I mean, I think this, you think this, and I think the whole fan base thinks this, that this is the most excited we've been since probably John Gruden was the head coach. In terms of watching the game, because this is Raider football. Like this head coach is what you think of. If you envision a Raiders head coach, this is a type of guy you would want.
Yeah.
A motivated,
already just that short of time, like in just a few days, he's become, what the Raiders mindset is. And Eckler just scored a touchdown, which is great for me. Herbert didn't score.
How many touchdowns are they scoring? What's the score of the
There's
game?
another flag. 4 flags in a row. Holy.
What's the score? It feels like every time you're like Chargers are scoring.
Yeah, it's about to be 14-0. There's another flag though, and I think it's a hold. Could be coming back. Bro, what a sloppy team, Chargers. This Brandon Staley's a moron. Dumb.
Yeah. And I think that Charger game is if we had AP at the helm, we could have beaten the Chargers. That's gonna call. I was looking at the playoff picture. Like I was saying before the pod started, like after a win, we always get excited and look at the playoff seeding to see where we stack up. Losing to the Chargers and losing to the Steelers might come back to hurt us. And Josh McDaniels effed up both those games with his play calling and his decisions. So look, hopefully we can overcome those early season woes. Hopefully AP can go. I think we need to go 6-2 in our last 8 to go 10-7. It's going to be hard. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting us to go play hard. We have nothing to lose. I'm not expecting us to go 6-2, maybe 5-3, 4-4, because we do have some tough games. KC twice, Miami. So even if we don't make the playoffs, if we win not 8 or 9 games, I think it's a wild success, and I think Antonio Pierce will be back next year if we win 8 or 9 games and miss the playoffs. I think AP will be back.
And let's look at the schedule now. I mean, by the way, they called offsides on the offense.
Offsides
on the offense because they ran a hurry up and the Chargers tight end was coming, like trying to get set, and the Jets guy who was coming onto the field from the bench, the guy who was doing the rotation, stepped on his foot and he fell. Chargers tight end fell down in front of the line of scrimmage when the ball got snapped. So they called an offensive offsides, which was a no play.
Oh, it's not a penalty. It's just a dead. It
was just a dead ball. It wasn't like a 5-yard penalty. It was just like a dead ball because the guy wasn't onside. Like that's kind of BS. But I mean, now Eckler ran it in 14-0. Jets are just a really, really not a good team, and I think next week, I would expect another statement win just by looking at the Jets right now. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, we better beat the shit out of them next week. I mean, we're too good of a team now after this last win. The Giants were, besides their quarterback situation, besides their offense, their defense was really respectable. They were high-ranked defense, top 12 defense, I think, in the league. They had been making stops. But the rest of the way, we got the Jets. Then we got at Miami, which is also another very tough game. And that could be one of our trap game. I think our trap game already happened, which was Chicago.
Yeah.
With the new, with McDaniels and stuff. We had 2 tough games back-to-back weeks. So I don't know, maybe we respond against Miami in a different way, coming off hopefully a Jets win. Then we got versus Kansas City. I'm going to be there. That's going to be my first game in Allegiant. I'm going to Vegas that weekend after Thanksgiving, and then
Is
we
that
got
on prime time or is it just a
no,
regular?
it's a 125 regular.
Okay.
Then we got bye week. Then we got Minnesota. Josh Dobbs coming to Vegas. That's gonna be crazy. Expect to see a lot of Josh Dobbs jerseys in the crowd. Then we
Yeah.
got Chargers on the short week, at Chiefs on Christmas morning, at Colts on New Year's Eve, and then Denver to finish it out at home. So in the last, I mean, 8, hypothetically, you're looking at like two, like maybe 2 losses. I mean, if you split with Kansas City, which is easier said than done, but look at how they looked against Denver. They looked awful. They looked god
Yeah.
awful against Denver.
But here's where I'll say I don't think we're gonna go 6-2 because obviously we're not gonna sweep the Chiefs. Best case scenario, we're projecting best case scenario, right? Best case scenario, we're splitting with them, so that's one loss right there. And then there's 6 other games remaining. So like realistically, can we actually go 5-1 in 6 games? Like all those teams I think we're better than we have higher in talent than all those teams, except Miami. But we're playing Miami on the road. We're gonna be 7, 8 point underdogs in that game. So that's another loss right there. I'm just chalking it up as a loss. We have a chance to win, but I'm just projecting it, right? So that's 2 losses right there. Can we just win five games, 50-50 games? That's going to be a tough task. Like let's say if each of those games you have a 50% chance to win, if you just average it out, that's a 1 in 32 chance of winning all 5. That's how the probability stacks up. So like it's even if we don't make the playoffs, it's because Josh McDaniels effed up before. It's not just because our team sucks and Antonio Pierce sucks. It's because our old coach screwed up the season. And you heard Mark Davis say, "I'm sorry for wasting your season." There was a report that said he went up to some of the players like Devontae Jacobs and said, "I'm sorry." He apologized to them for letting McDaniels stay for the season. So look, even if we don't make the playoffs, it's not that doesn't mean our franchise isn't going up. It just means that we had a bad start to the season because of Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, and I think if Antonio Pierce finishes over 500, I think he stays as the coach.
Yeah.
Because Davis made the mistake with Basacci already. He let him go after they won 10 games and made the playoffs. And it's like Jets get a flag on every single play. I've never seen this before. There's been a flag on every single snap. Wow, that's just a terrible team. But let's hope for the best, obviously. But 9 wins, and I think he stays. I think they keep the regime. They let him do their draft. They let him do their thing. They let him get their quarterback. Maybe it's Aiden O'Connell. Maybe Aiden O'Connell balls out the rest of the year. He's only played 2 games, so give the guy a break. I mean, can't say he's not going to be the starter next year because he very well could be. I mean, we saw it in Carr's first year. I mean, Carr wasn't great his first year. We only won 3 games. But as soon as the second year, new head coach took over, we won. We won a lot of games that year. What we
Yeah.
went from 6th. So in
And we were
2014, we were 13. 15, we were
7-9.
7-9, and then 16 we were 12-4. So I mean, not necessarily done yet. Not done yet, but yeah, we'll wait and see, and we'll be back. We'll be back on Friday. We'll get my boys on, and we'll go through the preview of the Jets game.
Yeah, this is a big one, Raider Nation. We're happy for y'all. We're happy for our team. We're happy for AP.
And we're happy for us.
Yeah,
We've
big
been
time.
we've been through shit, man. We've been through so much shit. We're happy for us. More than being happy for all of us, we're happy for us, man. We're happy for us being fans again.
Yeah. Hopefully Antonio Pierce. This is going to be the Antonio Pierce show for the next few weeks, and we're
Nope.
here for it.
Let's see it. And let's go through picks for this coming week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Panthers Bears on Thursday night. Battle of the number 1 pick, which Carolina already gave up. So Chicago owns it.
Yeah. That's such a terrible game. I'll go Chicago. I
I
like
don't
their
think
quarterback.
Carolina. I don't think Tyson Bagent could have beaten any other team besides Josh McDaniels.
that's I mean, I don't even want to pick that game. That's like, what do you even
Yeah,
pick there?
that is a terrible that was a terrible game to pick. But I'm gonna take Carolina on the road. I think they finally get another win. I think they're 1-7, 0-4 on the road. They have Frank Reich, they have Bryce Young. I think they get the win. But then we got a Frankfurt game. We got Colts and Patriots, another shit game. Like there are just some shit games this week.
I will take the Pats there. I will take the Pats.
I'm gonna take Indy. I don't think I don't think Mac Jones can keep up. I don't think Mac Jones can keep up with Gardner Minshew, or Michael Pittman's been having a season like he's already at 600 yards. Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor are just a 1-2 punch. And I don't think I really don't see
Rashawn, don't you ever talk about the Patriots like that.
I don't see Belichick going anywhere, being fired. I think he's going to be fired or retire. But then we got Houston and Cincinnati.
I'll take, although CJ Stroud is playing like rookie of the year right now. Joe Burrow's hot. I'm gonna take Cincy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Cincy also. I think it'll be close though. I think the line is at 7, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think I'll take the over on that. I think Houston is going to keep it close. They're just a sweet team this year, and they got a great head coach. Then we got our boy Derek Carr visiting Minnesota and Josh Dobbs. That's also going to be a close game. The line's only at 2. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Josh Dobbs gets a win here. I always bet against Carr, so
I gotta go Carr. I mean, I gotta go with Derek Carr Saints. I was watching the chart Raiders Chargers Week 18 game, so I think that got me my feels a little bit. I was a little nostalgic, so I'll ride with Carr there.
right, as you always do, and
Yeah,
usually you're wrong.
I'm a Carr loyalist.
I'm not. And then we got a Super Bowl rematch: Green Bay visiting Pittsburgh. That's also another shit game. There's a lot of shit games this
Dude,
week. Wow.
Pittsburgh's sneaky 5-3. Isn't that crazy? They're 5-3.
Yeah, and CJ Stroud is throwing more career touchdowns than Kenny Pickett. That's also crazy.
What a job Mike Tomlin is doing. And that's in Pittsburgh, or is it in Lambeau?
That's in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Ooh. Oh, I'm gonna take the Packers just because I really want them to win. We can't afford Pittsburgh going 6-3.
I know Pittsburgh
They're not
going
a 6-3 football team. That's an embarrassment if they're 6-3.
bad. That whole division is 5-3. Besides Baltimore, Baltimore 7-2. So that division, every team could make the playoffs in that division, which is crazy. Then we got another shit game: Titans and Bucks. Like, wow, the NFL. Like, what the hell?
Ooh, Titans Bucks. Oh, I'll take Will Levis.
Yeah, I think I'm
Levis is
gonna take
ball.
the Titans. I don't think Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's only good when he signs on Tuesday and plays the Raiders on Thursday. That's the
Yeah.
only time he's good. But I also, I mean, I'm gonna say like having the Raiders be in prime time on this night, like on this Sunday, like it sucks. Like because we can't watch football all day. There's nothing to watch. These are all garbage games. Like usually you want to watch and like see like maybe there'll be like a nail biter game in the morning or in the afternoon. Like they're all just trash games. There's one good one though, 49ers Jaguars. I'm gonna take the Niners. I think they bounce back. I think they lost 3 in a row, which is crazy to me. But Brock Purdy's not all that. I don't think Brock Purdy's that good. Plus, Debo Samuel's been hurt. He's going to be back. And yeah, I like the 49ers in that one. In
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
I'll ride with the faithful
Yep.
in that game.
And then we got Browns and Ravens. We got
Ooh.
Brown. That's a great game. Browns at Ravens. Deshaun Watson's back. Played really well last week. So
I
um
gotta go Balti there. I think people are saying they're the best team in the league right now. They're
yeah,
hot.
I'm also gonna go Baltimore. Um yeah, I'm gonna take Baltimore as well. I'm gonna take Baltimore there. But then we got Falcons and Cardinals. That's another garbage game in the afternoon window. Line is 1 for
Oh, you
Atlanta.
know what? Kyler's back though. I'll take the.
Yeah,
Hopefully the Cardinals win.
Kyler's back. Hopefully they win. Last week they lost because that guy Clayton Tune didn't know how to play football. So that's gonna be, yeah, I got Arizona in that one too. I Desmond Ritter's. Oh, actually Taylor Heineke's playing. Give me Atlanta. I like Taylor Heineke. Give me Atlanta.
Oh, I always hated Taylor Heineke ever since they beat us. Remember they beat us?
Yeah, I know.
The
After
it was the
Thanksgiving,
game after the Dallas
yeah,
game
game
on
after
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, I remember. Yeah, they beat us, and then damn, that was a
That
disaster.
was a shitty game.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take Atlanta there. I think Taylor Heineke's is really good still. Then we got another great game. We got Lions and Chargers. That's a friggin' awesome game.
I gotta go Detroit there.
Yeah,
Chargers always come up flat in those spots.
yeah, and I think the Jets are just a shitty team. I think the Jets are just a god awful team. Like, I mean, look at what Chargers are doing to them right now. But I mean, Detroit's just an all around football team. Herbert just got sacked. As I said that, Herbert gets lost, sacked for a 10-yard loss. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions too on the road there. That's gonna be roaring in that stadium on Sunday. That's gonna be crazy. And then we got Cowboys Giants, another garbage game. Wow. They couldn't have picked worse games. Cowboys are 17-point favorites.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take
we'll take the Giants. Yeah.
definitely.
Yep. Then we got Commanders visiting Seattle. That's a 7-point line, but I think Commanders are better than that. So I think, and after last week, Seattle put up a egg against Baltimore. So I'm gonna take the Commanders in that one.
Uh, where is it? It's in Seattle or it's in
Yeah, yeah, but Sam Howell's balling now, so I'm gonna take
I gotta go see. I think they're gonna respond. Washington traded away all their players. They traded away Chase Young and
yeah, and
Montez
they
Sweat.
still
So
won last they still won last week. They're 4-5 like us. Then
yeah,
on Sunday night we got Jets Raiders. We'll dive into that on Sunday, but early on I'm gonna say the Raiders are gonna blow them out. I think they're gonna do to them what they did to the Giants. If not that bad, like, if not, maybe like a 20-point game. Because this is pathetic right now what the Jets are doing. I mean, they're just pathetic.
yeah. I got us winning. I don't think we're gonna score as much. I'll go 19-3. I know it's an odd score, but that's what I'm going with. But
19-3.
yeah.
I
Um.
think I think I'm gonna say Raiders Jets. But anyways, our last game, then we gotta go. Bills Broncos, Buffalo all the way. I
We'll
think
go
Buffalo
Bills.
responds.
But yeah, we got less than a minute in our Zoom, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see
Thank
y'all.
you,
We'll
Raider
see y'all
Nation.
this weekend. We'll see you.